Imagine walking through your backyard on a peaceful summer afternoon when you accidentally bump into a paper-thin structure hanging from your eaves. Within seconds, you're surrounded by dozens of angry insects, their wings beating at frequencies that create an ominous buzz cutting through the air. You run, you escape, you think you're safe. But here's what most people don't realize. You've just been marked for death, and that mark will follow you for the rest of the summer. Every wasp in that colony now carries your chemical signature in their memory, and they will hunt you with a precision that would make military strategists envious. This isn't science fiction or exaggeration. This is the terrifying reality of how social wasps operate, and it reveals a level of biological warfare that most humans never comprehend. When you disturb a wasp nest, you don't just anger a few insects. You trigger an ancient alarm system that has been perfected over millions of years of evolution, turning every member of that colony into a living weapon programmed with one mission: find you and eliminate the threat you represent. The moment your hand, foot, or tool makes contact with their nest, the guard wasps immediately release a cocktail of alarm pheromones. These chemical signals are invisible to us, but to wasps they might as well be neon signs screaming "enemy identified." The primary component is isoamyl acetate, spreads through the air like a molecular beacon, but it's accompanied by dozens of other compounds that create a unique chemical fingerprint. Think of it as a wanted poster written in molecules, and every wasp within a quarter-mile radius can read it perfectly. If you've ever wondered why you should hit that like button and subscribe, it's because nature's most sophisticated communication systems put our technology to shame, and there's so much more terrifying beauty to discover in the insect world. But here's where the science becomes truly unsettling. These pheromones don't just alert nearby wasps to immediate danger, they actually alter the behavior and physiology of every wasp that detects them. Within minutes of the alarm being raised, worker wasps throughout the colony begin producing higher levels of juvenile hormone, effectively switching their brains from maintenance mode to warfare mode. Their aggression increases exponentially, their flight patterns become more erratic and unpredictable, and most terrifyingly, their ability to remember and recognize threats becomes laser-focused. The chemical marking that occurs during this process is far more sophisticated than most people realize. When wasps sting or even just fly around an intruder, they're depositing microscopic amounts of identifying compounds. These aren't just random chemicals, they're specific molecular signatures that act like a biological GPS system. Research has shown that these markings can remain detectable to wasps for weeks, turning you into a walking target that any member of that species can identify from considerable distances. What makes this even more remarkable is the speed at which this information spreads. A single alarmed wasp can recruit dozens of nestmates within minutes through a combination of pheromone trails and direct contact communication. When these recruited wasps encounter the marked intruder, they don't hesitate. They attack immediately, often in coordinated waves that overwhelm the target's ability to defend itself. This isn't random aggression, it's calculated biological warfare executed with military precision. The neurological changes that occur in alarmed wasps are equally fascinating and frightening. Studies using micro-CT scans have revealed that exposure to alarm pheromones actually increases activity in specific regions of the wasp brain associated with aggression and memory formation. Essentially, the chemical alarm doesn't just make them angry, it makes them smarter and more focused. Their compound eyes become more sensitive to movement, their reaction times decrease significantly, and their flight patterns become optimized for pursuit and attack. Consider the mathematical precision of a coordinated wasp assault. A typical paper wasp colony contains between 50 and 200 individuals, but a yellow jacket colony can house up to 15,000 workers at peak season. When the alarm goes out, even if only 10% of the colony responds immediately, you're facing dozens or potentially hundreds of insects, each capable of stinging multiple times and each carrying enough venom to cause significant pain and potential allergic reactions. The odds of escape without multiple stings become astronomically small. This is why I always encourage viewers to share these videos, because understanding these mechanisms could literally save someone's life, and the more people who know about nature's hidden dangers, the better prepared we all are. The evolutionary pressure that created this system becomes clear when you understand the stakes involved. A wasp colony represents months of intensive labor and genetic investment. The paper-thin nest that seems so fragile is actually an architectural marvel, constructed from wood fibers chewed and mixed with salivary enzymes to create a material stronger than many human-made composites. The hexagonal cells within house developing larvae that represent the future of the entire genetic line. When this structure is threatened, the colony's response isn't just defensive, it's existential. Recent research has revealed that the marking system extends beyond individual recognition. Wasps can actually distinguish between different types of threats and adjust their responses accordingly. A human who accidentally brushes against a nest triggers a different chemical response than a bird attempting to raid it for larvae. This suggests a level of threat assessment that rivals sophisticated security systems, all encoded in molecular communication, that operates faster than conscious thought. The temporal aspect of this marking system is perhaps the most disturbing element for humans. While the immediate alarm pheromones dissipate within hours, the chemical signatures deposited on the intruder can persist for weeks under the right conditions. Temperature, humidity, and the specific compounds involved all affect longevity, but documented cases exist of wasps recognizing and attacking the same individual weeks after the initial encounter. You become a marked target in a war you didn't even know you had joined. What's particularly unsettling is how this system scales up beyond individual colonies. Many wasp species in the same area can detect and respond to each other's alarm pheromones. Disturb one nest, and you might find yourself targeted by multiple colonies across a wide area. The chemical signals create a kind of neighborhood watch system, where information about threats spreads through the local wasp population like wildfire. The physiological effects on targeted humans extend far beyond the immediate pain of stings. The stress response triggered by being swarmed by aggressive wasps can cause lasting psychological effects. Many people develop severe phobias after wasp attacks, and the knowledge that you've been chemically marked can create persistent anxiety every time you venture outdoors during wasp season. You're not just dealing with physical wounds, you're coping with the knowledge that you're walking around with an invisible target painted on your body. From an ecological perspective, this marking and hunting behavior serves crucial functions that most people never consider. Wasps are incredibly effective predators, controlling populations of flies, mosquitoes, caterpillars, and other insects that humans consider pests. A single wasp colony can consume thousands of pest insects during a single season. Their aggressive defense of their nests isn't just about protecting their young, it's about maintaining the predatory pressure that keeps entire ecosystems in balance. The chemical communication system that makes wasps such effective hunters also makes them formidable opponents when you become their target. The same pheromone networks that allow them to coordinate hunting parties across wide areas can be turned against any creature marked as a threat. You're not just facing individual insects, you're confronting a distributed intelligence network that operates with hive mind efficiency. Temperature and environmental conditions can actually intensify the marking and hunting behavior. During hot, dry periods when natural food sources become scarce, wasp colonies become more aggressive and more likely to maintain their pursuit of marked threats. The chemical signals become more concentrated, the attacks more coordinated, and the danger to humans significantly increased. Late summer, when colonies reach peak population and food stress peaks, represents the most dangerous time for anyone who has been marked. The implications extend beyond immediate physical danger. For people who work outdoors, landscapers, construction workers, farmers, being marked by wasps can make certain areas effectively off-limits for weeks. The economic impact of having to avoid specific locations or work sites because of aggressive wasp behavior can be substantial, turning a brief encounter into a long-term occupational hazard. The molecular structure of wasp alarm pheromones reveals just how sophisticated this marking system truly is. The primary alarm compound, isopentyl acetate, has a molecular weight of just 130 daltons, making it light enough to travel on the slightest air currents while remaining stable enough to persist for hours. But it's the secondary compounds that create the real terror. 2-methyl-3-butanol acts as a recruitment enhancer, essentially amplifying the urgency of the alarm signal. N3-methylbutylacetamide serves as a species-specific identifier, ensuring that the right type of wasp responds to the threat. Together, these molecules create a chemical sentence that translates roughly to human threat, coordinate attack, remember this target. What makes this even more remarkable is the precision with which wasps can detect these chemical signatures. Their antennae contain specialized sensory organs called sensilla, each housing multiple chemoreceptor neurons capable of detecting individual molecules at concentrations as low as parts per trillion. To put this in perspective, that's equivalent to detecting a single drop of water in an Olympic-sized swimming pool. When you're marked by wasp pheromones, you're broadcasting your identity at a molecular level with a clarity that makes you visible to every wasp within a massive radius. Don't forget to hit that notification bell, because these biological detection systems put our most advanced technology to shame, and we're just scratching the surface of nature's hidden capabilities. Recent field studies have documented cases where marked individuals were attacked by wasps more than half a mile from the original nest disturbance site. This suggests that the pheromone trail doesn't just mark you for the original colony, it creates a regional alert system where information about threats spreads through interconnected wasp populations across vast areas. Essentially, you become a wanted fugitive in a surveillance network that spans entire neighborhoods. The behavioral changes in marked wasps extend beyond simple aggression. High-speed photography has revealed that attacking wasps alter their flight patterns when pursuing marked targets, using complex aerial maneuvers that maximize their chances of successful stings while minimizing their own vulnerability. They approach from multiple angles simultaneously, creating a three-dimensional attack pattern that makes escape nearly impossible. Some species have even been observed using what researchers term kamikaze coordination, where individual wasps sacrifice themselves to ensure that others in the group can successfully sting the target. The venom injection system itself becomes more efficient in marked wasps. Normally, a wasp sting delivers between 2 and 15 micrograms of venom, but wasps in alarm mode have been measured delivering up to 50% more venom per sting. The venom contains not just pain-inducing compounds like melittin and phospholipase, but also additional alarm pheromones that ensure other wasps can locate and continue the attack even if the original attacker is killed or disabled. Temperature fluctuations can dramatically affect how long you remain marked. In cooler conditions, the pheromone molecules move more slowly and remain concentrated around your body for extended periods. In hot weather, they disperse more quickly but can actually travel further distances, potentially alerting wasp colonies that are miles away from your original location. Humidity plays an equally critical role. High moisture content in the air can actually preserve these chemical markers for weeks, while dry conditions may reduce their persistence to mere days. Perhaps most disturbing is the intergenerational aspect of wasp memory. While individual wasps may only live for weeks or months, the colony's collective memory can persist much longer. Young wasps emerging from the nest are exposed to lingering pheromone traces and can actually learn to recognize threat signatures from previous encounters they never witnessed. This means that disturbing a nest in early summer could potentially mark you as a target for entirely new generations of wasps that emerge months later. The acoustic component of wasp attacks adds another layer of psychological terror. The frequency of their wing beats changes dramatically when they switch to attack mode, dropping from the typical 150 to 200 Hz to around 100 to 120 Hz. This creates a deeper, more menacing buzzing sound that many people instinctively recognize as threatening. The sound itself can trigger panic responses in humans, often causing people to make sudden movements that further provoke the attacking wasps. Scientific analysis of attack patterns has revealed that wasps employ sophisticated tactical coordination that would be impressive in military units. Lead wasps scout the target and relay information about movement patterns and defensive behaviors back to the main attack force through rapid antenna touching and body positioning. Secondary waves of attackers adjust their approach based on this intelligence, focusing on areas where the target is most vulnerable, or where previous stings have been most effective. The medical implications of being repeatedly targeted by the same wasp population are serious and often underestimated. Each subsequent sting from the same species exposes you to similar venom proteins, potentially leading to sensitization reactions. What starts as painful but manageable stings can progress to increasingly severe allergic responses, with some individuals developing life-threatening anaphylaxis after repeated exposures to the same wasp colony's venom. Perhaps most disturbing is the realization that this entire system operates completely outside human awareness until it's triggered. Millions of people walk past wasp nests daily without realizing how close they are to activating one of nature's most sophisticated biological alarm systems. The margin for error is measured in inches and seconds, and once you cross that threshold, the consequences unfold with mechanical inevitability. So the next time you're working in your yard or walking through natural areas during wasp season, remember that you're moving through a landscape filled with invisible tripwires connected to some of the most advanced biological security systems on Earth. Every paper-thin structure hanging from a branch or tucked under an eave represents a potential point of no return. Because once you're marked, once that chemical signature is painted across your skin and clothes, you're no longer just another creature moving through the environment. You've become the enemy in a war that operates by rules written in pheromones and enforced by creatures that never forget a threat and never give up the hunt. Make sure to subscribe for more incredible insights into the hidden dangers and amazing adaptations that surround us every day, because nature's secrets are far more complex and terrifying than most people ever imagine.